Hello all, welcome to week 2 of HRM 3410 Employee Selection. Last week we laid the foundation by exploring staffing models, strategy, and the social and legal environment of staffing. This week we're shifting into the building blocks of effective staffing: job analysis, external recruitment, and internal recruitment. Together, these processes ensure organizations attract the right talent, assess fairly, and create growth opportunities for internal employees. Successful staffing strategies starts here with job analysis. Without accurate job data, fair recruitment practices, and internal growth systems, organizations risk poor hiring, increasing turnover, and employee disengagement. These three areas that we will really focus on are job analysis, which is the systematic identification of tasks, responsibilities, and required KSAOs. External recruitment, strategies for sourcing and attracting candidates outside of the organization. Internal recruitment, which is leveraging current workforce for advancement and growth opportunities. Mastering these concepts gives us the blueprint to build sustainable, competitive workforces. These three areas work together to ensure organizations attract the right candidates, fairly assess their qualifications, and promote growth opportunities to internal employees. Before we jump into the content of what your chapters include this week, let's talk about what will set you up for success. Here's what you'll want to complete this week by Sunday by 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll be prompted for a discussion question, so you'll need to respond to the discussion and complete 2 peer responses. You'll have chapter work to complete, which is chapter 4, 5, and 6. You'll have your Learning Unit 2 project and your Learning Unit 2 quiz. One thing to maintain is to pace your work across the week, which will help you balance your learning and your assignments to have a successful week ahead. Into the chapter work. Each week, I will take key concepts from the chapters at a very high level and pick out 1 or 2 competencies to really make the content come to life. So this week, we're going to focus on job analysis foundations, which is found in chapter 4. And job analysis is a systematic process of identifying and documenting a job's tasks, responsibilities, and the KSAOs, which stands for knowledge, skills, abilities, and other characteristics that are needed to perform the job. These create data-driven, legally defensible job descriptions that guide recruitment, training, performance, pay, and compliance. Think of it as the foundation of every HR function starts here with job analysis. There's 2 critical dimensions related to job analysis. The first, which is job requirements, and that's the outline of tasks and responsibilities. Then the necessary KSAOs. And you may never have heard of that acronym before. So it starts with K is for knowledge, the information a person needs to perform the job, maybe the knowledge of HR laws or computer programming or even accounting principles. Skills, which is the capabilities to perform specific tasks that can be demonstrated and measured, such as typing speed, data analysis, maybe using Word or Excel. And then abilities. This is more general. It's enduring capacities to perform broad activities, such as problem solving, physical stamina, maybe verbal reasoning, or critical thinking. Other characteristics is for traits, values, attitudes, or personal qualities that influence job performance, such as personality, motivation, adaptability, and professionalism. And that's what ties up into the acronym that we hear quite often as KSAOs. Then the third piece is contextual factors, such as physical demands and work environments. These become the essential duties of the role and are very important to get right in the development phase. Now, candidates really want to know what's in it for me, and the job rewards is a component that is important to the candidate experience and is also important to identify what the employer brand will be for that specific company. The first one being job rewards. This is what employees gain from the role. This is intrinsic, meaningful work, autonomy, and growth. And then the second option is extrinsic, which is pay, benefits, and job security. Now, several techniques are outlined that show specifically how we gain the job analysis for the work that is performed. So that you can review a job analysis to identify how to build out a job description by one of these 4 areas, or maybe one or more than one of just the 4. The first one being observation. That's directly watching employees perform the tasks. The second one is interviews, gathering qualitative data from incumbents, meaning current employees and supervisors. And then questionnaires, standardized tools like the Position Analysis Questionnaire, also known as PAC. And then competency modeling, identifying broader capabilities linked to organizational success. So these methods can be used individually or in combination to build a comprehensive job profile. Well-executed job analysis supports multiple HR functions. The first one is when you have a proper job description and a review of job analysis, your recruitment and selection process is much easier. It ensures that job postings and assessments reflect the actual role and the demands. For training and development, this helps identify the skills gap and learning objectives for someone to be successful in the role and/or for us to retrain or improve our current workforce to the demands that is coming into the future. Performance management. This aligns evaluation criteria with job expectations so that we can help people evaluate where they are in terms of success metrics. And then compensation. This supports equitable and competitive pay structures when the job analysis is done correctly. And number 5, which happens to be the foundation of it all, and really one of the most critical, is the legal compliance. This helps defend against discrimination claims and supports ADA requirements and helps us identify what are the essential job functions, which will come up quite often. Without accurate job data, organizations risk poor hiring decisions, increased turnover, and legal and risk exposure. Job analysis isn't just paperwork, it's a strategic tool that drives consistency, fairness, and effectiveness across the entire talent lifecycle. When it's done right, it becomes a blueprint for building a high-performing workforce within an organization. Now let's take a look at a practical example of where job analysis can really fit in. So let's look at an example for a retail company who's preparing to launch a new line of e-commerce services. So they're going to go virtual and they're going to go online. And they'll need to conduct a job analysis for the role of an online customer experience specialist because they won't be doing brick and mortar work anymore. All of their customers will be going online through more of a virtual environment. And so the HR manager will work with the department and ask questions such as, what are the listing of the technical skills that will be required? Maybe something such as navigating a customer support system and software. Then they'll need to know the analysis reveals critical competencies like patience, adaptability, strong communication, and maybe even critical thinking skills. By highlighting both the technical requirements and the interpersonal skills, the organization is able to recruit and select candidates who not only meet the job demands, but also align with long-term service goals as they're looking to evolve the organization into more of a technical role versus just an in-person brick and mortar experience. Let's jump into chapter 5. So these are some key components related to the external recruitment strategy. And when we're thinking about external recruitment, it's the expansion of the talent pool to inject new skills and perspectives from candidates who are from a different environment that are not internal. Many times an HR partner or maybe a recruitment specialist will go out and look for external candidates in various different ways. Here are some of those common ways that we engage with external recruitment methodologies, such as job boards, social media, referrals, campus recruiting, professional associations, and even sometimes when it's really difficult, we may hire a third-party agency, such as a staffing agency, to support us as we're working through hiring external candidates and to build out awareness about our employment campaigns so that people want to work for us. Now, effective recruitment has a lot of data tied to it that a lot of people don't really realize. It requires measuring success across multiple different dimensions. Candidates increasingly evaluate organizations just as much as employers evaluate them, making employer branding and transparency very, very critical. Some key considerations as someone who works in recruiting will focus on 3 key areas of measuring their success. The first one is your ROI. What are your overall recruitment costs? And that's measuring expenses against quality and longevity of hires. That could be posting a LinkedIn campaign, which will cost money. Or is it using a staffing agency that will take a percentage of the salary? And so by showing the costs associated with hiring and then how long the employees are there for, really help the recruiting team know their overall ROI. Another key measure that they use is time to fill, which is ensuring critical roles are filled efficiently without sacrificing quality. Now, some roles that are very technical may have a time to fill average that is different than maybe an hourly role that a lot of entry-level people can go into. If you think of it like a technical recruiter will take a long time to find a candidate and persuade them to want to come into a new organization. Where a line level role, typically there's a lot more people lined up that are interested in those roles, so it's much quicker to hire. But that time to fill varies based on each position. And then the most important, which is quality of hire. This is, let's track the performance, the tenure, the retention, and the cultural fit of the new employees that are coming into our organization. Specifically, are we retaining them and are they showcasing a high performance? Now, some key success factors when you're looking at recruiting is diversity outcomes. Are you expanding reach to ensure representation and equity? Are you showcasing the employer branding by showcasing our clear values, meaningful work, and growth opportunities that exist within the organization? Is our recruitment message transparent about the culture and potential career paths? And there's a social responsibility of demonstrating commitment will really influence candidates' decisions. It's really about, does this employer go out and give back to the community? Or do they help certain areas that are in need? Those are really important to the candidate pool today, more so about what the employer is doing for others than what the employer will do for them. A really good example that I like to think about with this is, how do our tech companies that are starting up go beyond just job boards because people don't know about them? And so an example would be a tech startup competes for software engineers by investing in their employer brand through LinkedIn campaigns, developer blogs, and hackathon sponsorships. Many times we'll see with a lot of technical roles that they'll post a day in the life video from current employees that will attract candidates motivated by innovative culture and improving both fit and retention. Now with Chapter 6, this is all about that internal recruitment strategy. Not so much the external, but what are the benefits as it relates to leveraging your internal candidate pool? And the one thing that's here is about filling open positions, offering significant advantages in terms of cost, speed, and employee development is really a key factor with internal recruitment. It's a strategic approach to cultivate a loyal and skilled workforce. There's 4 key benefits to internal recruitment that we really focus on. The first one being that it's extremely cost-effective and efficient. It reduces external advertising, job posting fees, recruitment agency fees, as well as onboarding, which can be very expensive for new hires. It also boosts employee morale. It demonstrates commitment to career growth and development, along with fostering loyalty and engagement for those who have put the time in. It leverages institutional knowledge. Internal candidates already understand the company culture, the processes, stakeholders, and it reduces a lot of the ramp-up time. And more importantly, it shows proven performance. So hiring managers have access to candidates' work history. Many times they already know the candidate and they can speak to their performance in detail because they've worked with them before. So it leads to really informed decisions versus just taking a chance on an external candidate that you don't really know. There's a very specific strategy with internal recruitment that HR professionals really focus on. So common methods that we use to leverage that talent that already exists is having an internal job board where employees can navigate through the employee job postings. And many times some of these job postings are only posted for internal only, which allows us to showcase that we want to hire and promote our internal candidate pool. Many HR professionals conduct talent reviews each year to identify where their talent is at in terms of needing skill development, or if they're ready now to jump into a new role. And it's about the capacity to take on something new and different. Succession planning is really focused on preparing future leaders and ensuring continuity so that we always know where those critical roles will have someone taking place if someone were to leave. And then, of course, internal networking. We're connecting employees with growth opportunity, maybe cross-functional learning, mentors, stretch assignments, all of which really help our internal candidate pool be ready for their next role. Some of the key advantages is faster, less costly, higher engagement and retention, strong cultural fit. Some of the challenges as it relates to internal promotions is there is a risk of favoritism or bias because we already have a lens of that current candidate pool. There's also limited fresh perspective because they're not coming in with anything new that they've gained from the external area. And then, of course, there's the Peter Principle, which is promoting employees beyond their competence and many times not always setting them up for success where there may be challenges there. Let's take a look at a really robust example of how internal mobility can really make a difference in both the lives of the employee and the employer. So for example, an international hotel chain demonstrates the power of strategic internal recruitment through comprehensive mobility programs that benefit both employees and organizational performance. So let's say a front desk agent in Las Vegas wants to apply for a guest services manager role in Miami. When they're paired with things like internal job posting systems where they can see these openings nationwide, maybe even worldwide, it creates global opportunities for them. And then the second thing is around leadership development programs, helping them with structured programs preparing employees for advancement and new challenges. And then 3, succession planning, clear pathways that help identify and develop future leaders across all levels. Then the 4th one would be career mobility. The front desk agent in Las Vegas advances to guest services manager in Miami because we've set them up for success. Now, this approach not only fills vacancies with proven performers, but also strengthens retention and employee commitment to the brand. There's an employee benefit. They have clear growth opportunities, skill development, and career advancement. There's also organizational benefits, which have reduced recruitment costs, improved retention, and stronger cultural alignment. And there's a strategic impact that shows that HR is at the seat of the table with the organization, showing them that our talent pipeline is part of that overall strategy. It creates sustainable talent pipeline while maintaining service quality and brand consistency. So now we've taken an opportunity to review your chapter work, just some of the key highlights. Obviously, you'll have some different highlights that you'll gain from the textbook, but those were just some quick overviews and areas in which that you can see how it can be applied in various different ways. So here are some reminders as you come up into this week. First and foremost, if you have any questions, feel free to use the general Q&A discussion post. And if you have something that's more personal, feel free to email or call me, or you can use our office hour time to really schedule time to discuss with me. Grading occurs each Monday, so I'll have your grades all done by this upcoming Monday. And then I recommend that you complete all assignments by Sunday by 11:59 p.m. so that you're on task and that you got all of your assignments done so you're not waiting till the last week to get anything done. Have a great week. If you have any questions or need anything, please let me know. Thank you.